Good morning. Welcome to Vaping Dawn to Dusk with Juicy Jones and our co-host.
Hi guys, Polish Vapes UK, and good afternoon
It is going to
from
be
the
a great
UK.
show today. Today is diversity in photography and vaping, and we have two killer guests. One is Lisa from Diverse People Vapes on Instagram, and she's going to talk about everything, which is great. And another is our friend Nainoa from Abonite Photography, who is a killer vape photographer and just a photographer actually too. And you're going to learn a lot about him. First, though, good morning, Luke. What are you vaping on, buddy?
The RX 200
You
finally
finally
came
got it
in.
in the mail.
Yeah, only like 3 weeks late, but it's all good. And I've actually just put on the 13 Heavens. I used the crown all day yesterday, but like I said to you, still had issues with leaking on the crown for some reason.
Yeah, we got to
Um,
figure out what that is.
yeah, so for now I've just switched back over to the 13 Heavens. My first lot of battery lasted me about 12 hours, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, and that's extremely good because what you were, let me think here. You were using the Crown on temperature control, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you chain vape, so that's killer. Um, I had good results too, except in my case, it was longer because I used through 3 miles at a time. So literally, this thing lasted a couple of days for what I was doing with
Yeah.
it, but it's not exactly the same. I want to say one thing to all the viewers. First, hello everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so that you get email updates for when we start these shows. And also come to our Facebook at facebook.com/groups/ Juicy Jones. And then what you'll do is have fun with us. So this week I want to say something that's a little bit of a bummer, and that is that it was like one of the worst weeks for people who were great passing away. And the first guy that happened this week was a local guy here in Seattle, and it was Dick Spady from our famous fast food joint Dick's. And this guy has been one of Seattle's leading businessmen who has overpaid and given educations to and insured people around this city for decades. And it's just sad to see him go. That guy was a real nice guy. And also, Alan Rickman, obviously, whose greatest movie, Galaxy Quest, was amazing, and we're all sad about that. But also, to me, Bowie passing away was a big hit to my heart, and it makes me sad. And so, here's to you, Bowie. Thanks. Um, you know what I've got? What I'm vaping on? I just got a bunch of a new like dot mod clone drip tips, so I have them in every color, and I've got them on my Foti. And as you guys know, I cannot stop using the Foti. I just put the sickest dual 26 parallel on here. They're 7 wraps each, and it comes out to about 0.27. I like it by point 0.3, so it's a little low for this taste. But this thing is amazing, and you can freaking chain vape this thing if you like at 80 watts. Or not. But the Foti is amazing. This is really underrated device, I think. I absolutely love this thing. All I've got right now is my little video of how to wick it. So I think wicking it right is the key to it. And it's got a lot of little things. Like it's kind of messy and it doesn't have knurling. But I love this thing, so I can't stop vaping on it. I'm going back to 65 watts. But the other thing I put together today was, though, just my quad coil on my rouleau. Because I got my rouleau out for you because you got yours. But we also will tell viewers that if any of you out there have not updated as of today. What is today's date, my friend? As of
It
today,
is
January 16th.
this. Oh yeah.
If you haven't updated your firmware to 3.0, do it. It brings it up to parity with the firmware on the eVic VTC Mini, and what that gives you is custom TCR, a new improved stainless steel 316 temperature control mode, and a slightly better menu system and some other stuff. So it's worth doing. It's easy. It takes 3 minutes. Make sure you do that, my friends.
Yes, and we will be doing a giveaway for the replay, and we have got the announcement for the winner for the Velocity Mini later on in the show.
That is awesome. And we're giving away a Kennedy 24 clone. FastTech just added all the Kennedy 24 clones, and so that's killer. And they have 4 colors available, so we're going to announce that. We're going to announce the winner of that next week, and then at the end of the show, we'll tell you what to do. So, what's going on with you, Luke? my friend, my
Not
English
much, not
buddy.
much. Not much. Still working. It's getting as cold as anything at the moment.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous having to go outside every hour at work and freeze, then to warm up again and then go back out again.
Why do you have to go outside every hour?
I have to do like a patrol of the area to make sure everything's safe.
Oh,
So
see, that's why you never mentioned it because the weather was always nice till now.
yeah. So I have to freeze now and then. I'll try and warm up, and then by the time I'm warm, I have to go and freeze again.
I'm sorry. You and I live at the same latitude, and so I am the same as you right now. Like this morning, I went outside with my T-shirt and the dog leash, and just my other shemagh, and I didn't even have a hat on, and I was like, "Arr." Luckily, the dog just wanted to pee. Um,
Yeah.
Let's shout out to all the viewers who are in chat too, because it's especially important to me to say thank you to all these people. There's so many people in chat right now that are our friends and friends of the show and new people, and I'm just going to rattle off a list of everybody I see here. Vaping Anthrax, our good friend from Instagram who's funny,
Yeah.
follow him. April Miller, who was here last week. Matt Jenkins, Jeremy Beatty, S.E. Bezlikas, fuck yes. Thank you for saying that you like our work. Matt Jenkins again, because he chatted. April, who was it? Oh, there's Brian, Vaping from Beginners, another friend of the show. He was on here.
Yep.
And
Blaine.
Stan's, Blaine, yes, Stan's Vapeland. And Dan Snath, I see him. Haven't seen you before. I'm so glad to see you now. And I just want
Berman Vapes.
yeah, B-Man, of course, absolutely. And and Mike the bassist, I saw you in there. Hello, buddy. And anybody else I forgot, I'm so sorry. But we love the live viewers, and we love how you guys ask us questions and stuff. And we don't want this to be any exception. If you have questions for our guests and stuff who are coming on in a few minutes, make sure you do it. So
Yep.
we got most of the biz over, huh? Should we invite our friends to come on and talk?
Yes.
Yeah, killer. So first, I'm going to bring both of these guys on at once, but I'm going to tell you what they are. It is Lisa from Diverse People Vape on Instagram, and she is a gal who has a great story and is going to tell us about why she decided to start that Instagram account, and also our friend Nainoa from Abinai Photos on Instagram, and I've just shown them both on the broadcast. And he's going to talk about his projects and his passions, and also some of his vaping. So how are you guys doing? Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, Lisa, unmute yourself. Just tap on that little mute button. There you go.
Such a genius. Hi.
Hi.
Hello. Glad to be here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm so glad. So I have to say that a special thank you goes out to Nainoa because Nai lives here in Seattle, and it's early.
It's
thank
a
you,
little
sir.
bit.
East Coast, Maryland, so
Yeah, that's like time for second breakfast. 11sies. That's
indeed.
awesome.
Yes.
That's
Not when
fantastic.
you haven't gone to bed, but insomnia.
So first, just as introductions, tell us, you guys, what you're vaping on, and where you're from, and how people should know you and stuff. And we can get to the actual vapors and stories later. But just say hi and tell us what you're vaping on. What do you got there, Lisa?
I usually run 2 or 3 mods at the same time. Right now I'm on the Smock M80 Pro with Crown Tank in the Rose Gold Edition.
Great
Because I
combo.
really like that. And vaping on Boosted's holiday flavor, which was a thing called Rear Def. I don't understand the name, but it's like a pumpkin pie spice thing. It's really good.
Ooh, pumpkin! You
And,
said the magic word.
yeah. And good old trusty Kanger sub tank with a local company called Capital Clouds. I'm in the Washington, D.C. area. And a pineapple gummy bear flavor called Luncheon.
I see them all over Instagram. It's good.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Good.
I've tried 3 of their flavors, really like them. So that's what I got going on now.
That's awesome. That's good. Well, good morning to you. Nainoa, how are you doing? What are you vaping on?
I am vaping on my new Joytech with the Tron S. I'm vaping on Cargo from Cloud Shapers. It's from Future Vapor. It's their cantaloupe gummy flavor.
Yeah, that's our local vape shop, Future Vapor. They are fantastic. Go there. Go
Yeah,
there and buy everything.
this juice in specific I fell in love with just because I love gummy stuff and it's a quality liquid. Haven't had any problems with it.
Fantastic. And you and I have been hanging out this week, and that you just got that kit, right? The whole kit with with the neutron tank and the EVIC VTC Mini.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
yeah, you like the new titanium coil that you got, don't you?
yeah, I'm loving it. You know,
That's cool.
I'm kind of new to the whole, vaping, with different kinds of mods and stuff. So this is
Uh-huh.
something that's it's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's a lot better than what I'm used to, and yeah, it's delicious.
Lisa's holding up her coffee cup. That's right, fueled by coffee.
Yeah, golden snail tea.
Oh, and tea, excuse me. Pardon me. That's perfectly fine. We go through tons of tea here too.
Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, let's at least let's start talking to you guys about your vapor stories because you guys have interesting ones. Lisa, talk to us about like how long you smoked and what it was like for you to quit smoking and start vaping, and then what got you interested in your project over on Instagram with the Diverse People Vape, which I really like. I don't want to tell people
Okay.
about it. I want you to.
Thank you. My story is really not too much different than a lot of others. I have been smoking for about almost 30 years, and through it all, always had allergies, asthma, was on inhalers and nebulizers, and in my head, I was like, this is really dumb. I'm medicating myself, even though I'm still smoking, but whatever. And I quit for a year, and then I picked it back up. And ever since then, I haven't been able to quit. So then I decided to start using devices like these little things where it's the little,
Yeah, the little
literally
kits,
little
battery
kits
kits.
where you screw it on, and it's just
Yeah,
nothing.
I remember those things well.
Didn't
You
work.
didn't get nothing. You actually got the shittiest little tiny hit there I saw.
Yeah, didn't work. And then, so I went to a doctor, and he said you have COPD, early stages of emphysema. This is back in
Oh, that's horrible. I'm
early
sorry.
summer, and you're going to be on oxygen in 10 years if you don't quit. So I really started thinking about it. And one day when I was walking into 7-Eleven to get a pack of cigarettes, the rep from Enjoy happened to be there. And I said, okay, fine, I'll get it. I don't know where the bottom part of it is, but you can get the cartridges and you can put your own juice in it.
Yeah, the old clear misers.
So, yeah, so I used that for a while and then quickly moved on to the Aspire Nautilus Mini. This is all within like a 2-week period. So I quit on it's been 7 months, around June 16th. And I
Of
haven't,
this past year,
this past
2015.
year, yeah. So,
Congratulations. That's fantastic. You made it through half a year already. Plus.
yeah, and this lasted me a good several months. And then for my birthday, my husband got me the old IPv3Li and
One of the best mods there is.
battery charger and all that stuff. And I started getting stuff like the iStick 30, and I have a whole table of vape mail and a whole bunch of stuff. It's just progressed pretty much, like everybody. You start out small, you get bigger, and all that. Although nowadays people are diving into vaping for the first time with something like this. I started really, really small. But it doesn't matter how you start, so long as if you can quit and you're vaping and you're safe. I've also weaned myself down to zero nicotine, which I think is healthier, and I'm kind of nutty this way. I'm preparing for if the FDA shuts vaping down. I know this sounds kind of weird, kind of prepperish, but the zero nic is kind of a bonus. I can make my own juice a lot easier, like we were talking before. But that's pretty much my story with how I started vaping and all that.
So you quit a lot more recently and
Very
than
recently,
some people.
yes.
That's so great. But
Yeah.
so it wasn't that couldn't have been as painful. Was it did you have like a particularly good local vape shop that helped you with your stuff? I mean, besides your husband obviously deciding to invest in it, your husband obviously got it and invested in the gear you needed to.
Yes, he was very
Um,
supportive, although he hasn't made the jump yet. But starting from the little thing like this to what I have now, I did. I'm a research person. I did a lot of Googling. I did a lot of looking up on Instagram, and
yeah.
found a couple of vape shops, and we went. And there's a vape shop, 33 Cloud, Vape Chalet. I've been there and gotten some products there. And Bethesda Vape. Bethesda Vape Shop have done my builds for me. I don't build. I've progressed to the point of being able to install a pre-built coil, and I think that's about as far as I can go. But I think
That's great, though. I don't think you
I'm
should
more
be.
of a sub-tank kind of person.
Sure.
And that's another thing, there's no right or wrong way. You don't have to build to vape. If you like sub-tanks and that's your thing, great. Whatever works.
Yeah, we talk about that all the time. In fact, Luke, Luke is like a serious like builder mech guy, but he tried the Crown, and he was like, okay,
Yep.
yeah, this is good. So his mind wasn't closed to it, and you like your Crown too, I'm sure, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Um,
and I have a gazillion others waiting, and I actually just ordered the new Aspire something or other.
Cleto or
Yes.
Cleato or whatever it's called.
Yeah, you need to change that name, but anyway.
None of these people know anything about naming anything. Whatever.
But briefly, how I started Diverse People Vapes. How can I say this?
Actually, hold on one second. Let's get Nainoa in the conversation and
Yeah,
just
okay.
have him just tell us his vaping story, and that way we can just meet
Okay.
him, and then of course we have plenty of time. Like we are tons. Nainoa, good morning, by the way. Crack those eyes open, my friend.
They are open. I'm half Japanese.
Oh my God, that's not what I meant. You're so funny.
Well, see, when I
Good
actually
morning.
started vaping, I was in Honolulu at the time. So I don't know if anybody out in the crowd is from Hawaii, but if you wind back the clock a couple years ago, there was only one company that was really big into vaping, which is Volcano e-cigs. And, they had the stuff at 7-Eleven. I got the Volcano, and, it was okay. It wasn't until I got to Seattle that I actually saw all the different possibilities, and I quickly went from an
Yeah,
Eagle
because you met the
1.
guys at Future Vapor pretty quickly, didn't you? Doing your
Yeah,
research, just going around.
actually, they were the first ones that I walked into. And so, I was kind of intimidated by it, so walked in there. They were happy to help me out. They were happy to tell me um, about all the different kinds of stuff, and they told me, you don't need to have that big, huge mod. You don't need to have the, you know, they asked me what I liked and what I wanted, and quickly went from, I went to the Eagle One. I loved that. Then I went to
Yeah,
the
good
Elite,
kit.
and then with the Eagle Tank, and now I'm on the one that I have currently now, and I'm loving life.
Yeah, you were so happy earlier this week when you were like, "Yes, I got it." You like pulled this out. Yours is the gray one, but you were like, "Oh yeah." And we went over to the store yesterday, and you know what I did? I just put my Tron tank on. This has got the same coil you do, so just for you, I put that on there, and I'm vaping the same as you. Here you go, buddy. Let's all have a big vape, by the way.
But
That
I
is
was
better.
I was smoking for a good long time, probably about 20 years.
Yeah.
So the transfer over wasn't it wasn't painful at all. But for the people that are watching the show that haven't started vaping or are just starting to vape, if you're transferring over from cigarettes, better to have more nicotine than not enough, because that's really what's gonna start curbing you back.
Yep. I helped another friend this week just get on track with quitting, and we got him an Endura T18 kit and some real high nic. In fact, you and I went and picked it up ourselves. Those 2 bottles I bought were from my friend Shane, and
Mm.
he was the one who in the Facebook group. By the way, everybody, join our Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Juicy Jones. That just feels weird to say. And he posted that he'd been 3 days without a cigarette, so that's really great. And it's not important that you have no cigarettes. I mean, if you smoke a cigarette, fine. The point is, the fewer cigarettes you smoke, it's better. That's just being on track. So he's doing pretty well with that, and I agree with you. We hooked them up with some real high nicotine, and even I still mouth to lung. Um, and use slightly higher nicotine in those devices just because I enjoy it. And sometimes I can't make a. I can't. Sometimes I'm in a place where I can't create a lot of vapor, and so courtesy, right? Um, remind me, what did you say? You had the iStick 30 watt right before you got the eVic VTC Mini?
Yeah, I had the iStick 30, and I transferred to that because I'm out and mobile, so I walk around. The Eagle one started dying on me quite frequently, and actually I had bought two of the Eagle One kits just because I wanted to transfer back and forth, and
Back up.
yeah, and then it started dying just because I started to use it a lot more, and then I got the E-Leaf, which was awesome, but what I really wanted was something that was going to take me into the future, so that's how I landed up with my current kit now, and I love it. The fact that I can change the batteries, the customizable features to it. The big thing for me, I don't know if anybody else has this problem. It has the really big window on it, and I can't tell you how many times I've burnt coil because I can't see what amount of liquid I have
Oh,
inside.
well, here's what's great about what we did yesterday is that now you're not going to have that problem because what's going to happen now is that the vape is just going to get shittier and shittier and shittier. It's not going to burn. And then you're going to go, oh, it's empty. And then you're going to put more liquid in. That's what temperature control does, my friend.
Now, see, but with the other kits, I wouldn't be able to do that. So, this is where.
Well, with the new Kanger kit, you could, but of course they came. This is I love this. I mean, I'm such a huge fan of this kit. I would tell anybody to buy it too. I'm glad you like that thing. I'm glad you like the titanium coils too, because that dry hitting thing just doesn't happen on this thing with the titanium coil, and it's warm enough.
Yeah, I really love it. It's awesome. So I would recommend this kit to anybody out there. Um, whether you're just getting into it, it's something that can take you into the future if you want to do that. Or
So you probably are pretty glad that you don't smell anymore. You too, right, Lisa? Like you guys like not
Yeah,
smelling, right?
definitely. Yeah,
I like
definitely.
that.
oh
Luke
yeah.
likes smelling, but different.
Um,
And
sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say your nose is super sensitive because my housemate who still smokes had a cigarette upstairs and she's on the other side of the house. And it was
Oh
coming through the
yeah.
vents and I picked up on it like that. I was like,
It's
okay,
like magical elves carried it right to your nostrils from a
right.
mile away. You're like,
Hmm.
ah! And
Yes.
people who smoke who think they don't smell like smoke fucking reek of smoke. And
Yeah.
I'm not criticizing or judging because that was me for so many years, and I always knew it
Hmm.
too. And so for now, I'm just glad that I smell like, this is my delicious strawberry milk. In fact, what's your favorite all-day vape? Let's start with Luke though, because Luke is staring at the chat window because he loves to chat with everybody.
Yeah. um, I don't know
You don't have
because
to restrict it to just what's in front of you either. Like, if you.
yeah, I usually don't stick to one thing, so it's quite hard. I usually just flick from whatever I feel like. There's not one thing that I constantly always use every day.
Same here.
I use the gummy a lot.
Yeah, that gummy. Yep. I'm gonna have that guy on the show too.
Yeah, it's a killer flavor.
Yep, they're great.
I love it.
Um, I think for me, my favorite all-day vape is the hazy custard by Adore. Honestly, it's my favorite. It's what I've got in my 40 right now, and it's absolutely mind-blowingly delicious. So
Mm.
that's me. But my DIY is good too. And also, one more, I want to remind the viewers that Luke and I next week we're trying it, but if not, we may have to go another week. We're doing our second installment of the DIY show, so we're going to do it just like last time. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we have new recipes, and we're each going to vape the last recipe from the last show.
Oh.
So because we mailed them to each other, so that's going to be kind of fun. And
Yes.
also, do we want to look and see what anybody down there has to say real quick? Oh, that's what I was going to say. I'm so sorry to sound so scatterbrained, but Nye, our friend Vaping for Beginners, Brian, is in Hawaii right now, so tell him where to go.
Oh,
Forgot to tell you that.
The exclusive with
Yeah, the exclusive. It's
the exclusive vapor
exclusive
company.
vapors.
Yeah,
Yeah, exclusive vape company. Make sure you
and
go there.
I do believe that if he's on Oahu, I believe they are in Liliha. I
Mm.
believe. I could be wrong about that. You might want to look them up. But they're good people, really good people. Funny enough, I didn't meet them in Hawaii. I met them here because we went to a vape con that we didn't even know about. So,
We had a really
um,
great time. I really enjoyed meeting those guys and gals. I really liked Justin and what's his name? No, Jordan and Justine,
yeah.
and they were nice and they were really pleasant to talk to and they were really friendly. So that's great. Um, Lisa, I don't want to take too much longer. I want you to talk about diverse people vape because one of the things that the reason we met is because of Diverse People Vapes. I think it was
Mhm.
April Miller who introduced us, and she was like,
Right.
you're really going to be interested in this," and she's interested in being on your show too. So definitely talk about that because I love that Instagram account, and I want everybody here to go to Instagram and follow Diverse People Vapes, and Lisa will tell you about what it is.
Um, yeah, it's a little bit controversial, sort of. Long story short, I was looking through my feed, and obviously, we all know that sex sells and all that, and we've seen the pictures of the vape models with the mods and their boobs and their butt and they're half naked and whatnot. And don't get me wrong, I like boobs and butts just as much as the next person. But I had noticed that for just your normal average person, maybe not so attractive, they don't get sponsored that often, and you don't. I tried to even get my picture. I said I DM'd these groups as can you post my picture. I got rejected each time. So eventually, somebody made a post and said to the effect that we shouldn't bully anybody, and even people who are fat enjoy vaping just as much as everybody else, and we shouldn't be mean to them. And that kind of got my feathers all ruffled. So I commented back and I said pretty much, well, you know, why don't you post a heavy set person as one of your chicks? And we got in a big fight about it and all this stuff. So I was like, you know what? I'm starting my own page with your average people who really make up the bulk of both online and brick and mortar business. Not everybody that buys vape stuff or vapes is a supermodel. It's just the way it is. Um, so that's where that came from, was just trying to, for me, kind of fill a need for that. Hey, you can be just a normal average Joe Blow. You vape. I'm going to post your picture.
Red and
Um,
yellow, black and white,
so
they are precious in our sight. I
pretty much.
I think
That's
that
that's it in a
I
nutshell.
think that I have a problem too, but sometimes I feel like our vaping Instagrams get overwhelmed by images that are just counterproductive. Like honestly, this is a major theme of the show here, and a major theme of me too, in just my life, because I'm a new age feminist. I've always been that, and I've noticed that half of all people are women. Not half of all vapors are women, only because statistically accurately, not half of all smokers were women either. So it's just a percentage. More men smoke, so there'll be more male vapors. But half of the decisions about what gets bought in this country are by women. In fact, probably more. And so it's absolutely insane to alienate them by having. We talked about this last week and several other weeks too, about to alienate them by trying to market things in this kind of way that's very amateurish. And one of the things that's strange about this industry is that people take it for granted that sex sells, but the truth is it doesn't sell in that way. It's a very amateurish marketing move, and big agencies and stuff don't do this. They, maybe for World Wrestling Federation because that's what the market really wants. But
Right.
for stuff that are consumer electronics and stuff like that, you don't see that. You see happy families. You see like slightly sexy moms. You don't see this all
Or
girls walking
or
around.
humor-driven, campaigns and
Absolutely,
stuff
and that's
like
another
yeah.
point is that you've actually just nailed it. Is that it's not necessary, and what we do in marketing at the agencies and stuff is that we tell them smarter things like humor sells and stuff like that, and so and also plain being friendly and relating. Like I love going to a vape meet or a place and half of everybody's gals, and we're all just talking like vapors. But what I hate is when I go and half of them are dressed up as models and or just underdressed or whatever for no reason, and they don't even vape. They're just taking pictures with people, and
Yeah.
then that's just crazy. And then how do the women feel behind the counter who are working legitimately?
Right.
But your page has just a lot of. It isn't even just about women. It's just your page is about all kinds of diverse people who may or may not be featured at other places. It's got all kinds of
Right.
regular
Oh,
people.
right. I don't care if you're male, female, if you have 20 toes, 3 heads, black, white, it doesn't matter.
3 heads. You know what? If you had an Instagram with only people with 3 heads, I think it would grow very fast.
It would. It's
Am I
taken
right,
a
guys?
while. I broke the 2,000 mark finally. I started it. I don't remember when. It hasn't. It's been long enough, but it's quality, not quantity. Although, of course, I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't want a bigger. But I don't take everybody. I do get a lot of people that want to join, but I don't know if they're being funny, but I'll get vape model, sexy type stuff, and I'm like, really, pass. Um, Pure product pages, private accounts, stuff like that. So I'm a little bit fussy, but
Sure.
I try to post everybody, new members, every day or every other day, and then on the weekends I'll go back to some of the older members and repost them. So it's kind of a lot to keep up with, but I do try to be very involved. I look through my feed, and like everybody and stuff like that. So I don't work, so I have the time to do it. But I like where it's going, and
That's
I like
cool.
keeping the integrity of it. And so far, it's been smooth sailing.
I
So,
recommend a web tool called Hootsuite, Hootsuite.
hmm okay, what does that do?
It will help you. Um, uh, it's just a website that lets you monitor social networks, and you can monitor by tags and all kinds of stuff, and you can just
Uh,
plow through a million and like tag them for yourself, and then you can repost them. So
oh, okay.
it's very very nice. Um, I think that's fantastic. And so I
Thank you.
also don't want, yeah, I mean, on all of your viewers, I want to remind you that you need to go to her Instagram, subscribe to that thing, and just also, if you tag her, what is your tag that you want you want them to tag you actually as a person on the picture, and that's how they know? Or do you search a hashtag?
Um, I sometimes search diverse people vape. That's what I says on my bio. I don't know what else. I mean, I don't know what you're talking
Okay.
about.
Oh, okay,
So,
that's fine. So tag diverse people vapes. Boom. Instagram
right.
dorks will know how that works, and then I'll tag some stuff too. Um, Also, speaking of Instagram, Nainoa is getting off too easy here because it's early. But Nainoa, come into my conversation, my friend, and tell us about Abonai photos and about your passion and your DXO1 and about that. I love talking to you about your photos because you're such. And also, go follow Abonai photos on Instagram. All the links will be at the bottom. But Nainoa is fresh here from Hawaii and has discovered what a beautiful city Seattle is and how fun it is to take pictures. And I want everyone to know about that. I love
Well,
hearing about it.
the funny thing is, when I got here, I had traditionally been using my DSLR. I have a Nikon, and I just started walking around taking pictures of stuff that was interesting. Um, and then back in October of 2015, I was walking around and I had gotten invited to PIX 2015, which was down at Seattle Center, and they had a new product at the time. Actually, I don't think it was even out yet, or if it was out, it was just out for like a week. It was called the DxO1, and a DxO1 is basically a micro DSLR camera. Um,
You have it handy? Can you put it on camera, or is it in the other room?
it's in the other room right now.
Oh,
Um, I'm sorry,
way
I
to
forgot
prepare there, buddy.
I forgot my prop.
No, no,
Um,
no. I'm so kidding. I want to remind viewers it's early as piss in Seattle.
um, if you look up DxO1 on Instagram or just look it up on the net, you'll be able to see it. It's a fabulous product. Basically, it can fit in the palm of your hand, and it's a standalone 20.5 megapixel still camera, and it can also take video 1080p at I think 60, and then there's also a higher setting for the frames. But it's a fabulous camera. Now, what it does is when it's attached to your iPhone or your iPad, you can take pictures with it, and it saves a temporary photo to your camera roll, which is good for social media. And then the higher resolution one gets saved to a memory card that's on the DxO1.
Yeah,
So
it's
I started.
fantastic. In fact, we met at Future Vapor here in town, and then he and I went out last week and did shots for my big Instagram giveaway. So it's such a cool device. It's such a nice thing, and you're so interesting too because now you want to start doing some more interesting and weirder kind of light-based, slow capture shots too,
Yeah,
right?
see the way that the DxO works is it's a lot like what a DSLR can do. So you can do the longer exposure photography, so you can do trippy stuff with light. You can do anything a DSLR can do, this thing can do. So you can do manual focusing, you can do longer exposures, you can do speed exposures, you know, um, like speed shots, so you can capture water droplets or snow as it's falling in the air. But I one of the projects that I want to do is longer exposure shots with steel wool, get some really trippy light effects. But on the flip side of it, like Lisa's, I wouldn't mind catching real people vaping. And what I mean by real people, it's, I worked in the restaurant industry for a good while,
Hmm.
so something about restaurant people, and I'm not saying everybody's like this, but majority of us smoke.
There's a
Um,
lot of that.
so you duck out for a second, but I wouldn't mind catching, somebody that, ducks out for a second and just is vaping instead of smoking. Because, there's just a lot of normal people that are out there.
I know tons of cooks who just vape in the kitchen, and I don't give a fuck. That's fine with me.
Yeah, and
Some
that's,
people would disagree, and that's perfectly fine. But I mean, in my opinion, don't give a fuck.
You're not going to get a cigarette butt in your food that way.
Never.
So,
No.
you know,
And what the fuck? They're breathing anyway, and science has shown us that the exhalation is indistinguishable from room air. So as long as they're being safe, I don't give a fuck. They can totally vape in the kitchen. That's
yeah,
fine. Wash your hands.
it's one of those things too where,
Wash your hands.
when your server, your bartender comes back in, they don't smell like smoke.
Yeah, that's
They're
true.
gonna
It's
they're gonna
offensive.
go they're gonna go out, they're gonna go and vape. They don't have to light up. They don't have to hurry up and stay out there longer because they have to finish their cigarette.
Yeah.
They're gonna take a few hits off of their vape, and then they're gonna come back inside. You
Absolutely. I
know,
love that. Also, by the way, remind everybody that Nainoa, does portrait and product photography. So obviously you can hire him. So mental note, you know where his Instagram is. You didn't plug yourself there, but you do
yeah,
that. So anyway, that little device you use is fantastically cool. And yeah, he and I are talking about going and do it. I'm going to help him participate in his project of trying to do some more exploratory type of photography with your device, right? Like you want to do some more weird light stuff and all
I
that.
do, I do. I want to actually take it, push it as far as it can go.
We can
Um,
find some vapors and we can do some vape stuff. It's not like I don't have any vape stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure you have something lying around that we could probably use.
And you
You
know
know,
who
I'm,
else has a lot of stuff is some of the guys over at Future Vapor, and like Cameron and DJ might have time. I know Andrew's busy, but he might also. They might have time to go out and do some fun stuff out, like actually vaping. Um, anyway, let's pressure him. You wanna?
yeah, that sounds like a plan.
Yeah, I love that.
It's like you will come and join us.
Yeah, that'd be
But
fantastic.
yeah,
So
that's
I love your photos, and I think they're fantastic. And I like how you're on a journey just to be a good photographer too, and that's how the journey of all creative work is. That's fantastic. But you're also very, very into vaping, and so that's nice. And part of the lesson here is just for everybody to see that like vapors are everybody, man. I know it's just a guy that walks around and takes great pictures, and that's his thing. And he's a vapor just like Luke is with his gigantic mech mod.
but yeah, feel free to check me out. If you have questions, do feel free to comment on any of the pictures. I'll be happy to go into depth
Of
on
course. And
Instagram.
Lisa reminds us not to forget that she also has her main Instagram, which is Mystic China with a Y, and she does photography there too, which is fantastic. That's killer. So, do we have any questions from the guests? Because don't forget that we're going to announce the winner of the Velocity mini giveaway, and we're going to announce whatever hoop you have to jump through for the giveaway for the, what did we decide to give away? The Kennedy 24 clone. Again, a third time, something I want that we're giving away. So that's great. Um, and what about chat? It takes them 40 seconds. First of all, let's all have a big vape because, sometimes we forget during this serious discussion of taking pictures.
I don't think we're that serious, but take a vape anyway.
I'm so sorry. Somebody in chat did ask one question, and that is, what is this thing in red? This is the same thing that Nainoa has. This is the EVIC VTC Mini V2 with the Tron S tank. It's the newer version of it. It's just that they made it in this red, and I'm telling you, this red is not like any other color I've ever seen in any mod. It's like a car. It's pretty amazing.
I actually have a question.
Coils. Yeah. What is it? Of course, Lisa.
I have a couple of different mods. I know that these two and some in my vape mail pile are capable of temperature control. I have not ventured into that world yet. I have ordered some stainless steel and some nickel temperature control coils.
Great question.
I don't know. I mean, I know how to get the setting, but I don't understand how do you know what temperature it is, or joules and all that, and so how does that work?
Yeah, that's a great question. Luke, do you want to answer that, or would you like me to answer it?
Yeah, you can answer it.
You can answer it. Well, Luke actually just got his first device that will run temperature controls. That was important. He's had the Crown for a long time, but he just finally was like, oh, great, I can finally explore this new thing. And
right, I've gotten the supplies, I just haven't done it because I just don't know. There's not a chart online that really says, okay, for this, do this temperature and this and that.
So it's a timely question because yesterday, Nainoa and I just went to the vape store and he bought his first temperature control coil that he's ready to use, and he got the titanium one. And so, in my opinion, it doesn't matter which one you prefer, but everybody has a different preference of whether they like nickel or titanium or stainless steel. I personally prefer stainless steel. We have new devices coming out next year that will work on Canthal, and we have devices that work on titanium and that work on this. Let me give you a quick example. This EVIC VTC Mini works with titanium, nickel, and stainless steel, and has custom modes, which they have a published chart on their website that shows what the custom values are for the curve for different kinds of metals, all the way from nichrome, well, not nichrome actually, they stop at stainless steel, all the way up through nickel. And what that is just a mathematical setting for this thing to be able to determine what the resistance is coming from the little coil inside there as you're vaping, because it's trying to determine if there's liquid on it. And it does that by figuring out how much power is going through it. So it's just a trick. So what you're doing is, with temperature control, like Nainoa, for example, and I went down there, and he got the titanium coil, which is my preference for this device. This device came with a Canthal one for mouth to lung, which is not temperature control, and it came with a nickel one and a titanium one. In my opinion, nickel is very, very metallic and takes a long time to break in, and a very cold, thin vape. I don't like nickel temperature control. Many people
I wish I knew that. I would have gotten the other.
Well, you may love it. I mean, the thing is, the most important thing to know is that there's a difference between how this works and what it's for, and which one you prefer. So I'm not, quote, right about that. That's what I like. I like stainless steel on temperature control real hot. Ask Luke how many freaking times have I been like,
yeah,
I'm a picky.
I definitely prefer stainless steel over nickel's. Just for me, it's got a weird taste, and it's not something that I can't get used to.
I have some stainless on the way. Maybe I'll order some titanium to try, but I first need to figure out how it works, like what temperature and all that.
To get started, I would start with obviously factory coils, and you have a Crown now. I recommend that you order the 0.25 stainless steel coils for the Crown, the factory coils. That is exactly what I have in mind right here. And then you put a drip tip on it, because that's the rule, right? So put a drip tip on it.
That helps.
And then all you have to do is, this is actually quite simple, and I can explain sort of how it is in theory. Like, oh, here's my temperature control mod. Oh, here's my Crown with a 1/4 ohm coil in it. Remember that every coil takes a half a tank before there's any taste at all. Nainoa, am I right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
he was like, "Why does this taste bad?"
it actually doesn't taste bad. You just don't taste anything, and then you taste
Yeah.
something that's like whatever your flavor is underwater. Like if I was to vape,
Underwater, yeah.
it's
It is. It's real bland, and then after about half a tank or a few mils, it'll start breaking in and being okay. But this is stainless steel. This takes about a half a tank, a new one, before it starts tasting like anything. What he's saying is true, and then
Right.
so all I've really got to do is go in here, and it doesn't. Whatever your device is, you select temperature control stainless steel,
Right.
and there are three things that you manipulate. The most important thing out of everything is that you don't fire it at all, and that you start this process the first time with it at room temperature. This thing has to be at room temperature because, unlike regular vaping, you have to lock the resistance to that, which I'll explain in a second. But the truth is that you just want to make sure that, like, I've got this thing cold, I haven't been vaping on it, and even if you've been vaping on yours, it's no problem to like try it or whatever. But just know that if it's more than a hundredth or so away, it's gonna be incredibly bad. So this will go to 0.27, but not any lower, and then maybe it'll go to 0.24 or 0.23, but that's as far as it varies. Any more, and it's absolutely terrible. So what it's doing is it's trying to measure the resistance of the metal coming through there to decide whether there's liquid in there by seeing how much power it's having to pump through to get that temperature. And so, and it's able to sense the temperature on these because they're lower resistance wires. Even though we have new circuitry coming this year that will be even more robust. And so the nice thing about it is, though, the fail mode is that when I vape on this, when it's empty, all it does is the circuitry just makes it crappier and crappier vape. It lowers the wattage as the liquid's gone. So when you're done, you just notice the vape is terrible. You don't burn coils out. They don't burn out. It won't fire if it's dry. So they don't catch on fire, they don't get burnt too quickly. You can still burn them by using the wrong wattage on them and all that stuff, but temperature control is a convenience, especially for tanks and stuff. And it works nicely, and it's a warm vape, and you can control how warm it is, and it's usually a fuller vape. It does eat up batteries a little bit more, but I don't think it's significant. But it is definitely, I mean, for my life it's significant. I think mathematically it's definitely significant. It does eat batteries faster, but it is great. So I stick this on here, and there are three things to do. The first thing is lock the resistance. That's because the math that does this needs to know that we're all, it needs to remember that that's the resistance it's aiming for the entire time to keep the temperature correct. So on this device, this Joytech device, all I've got to do is I stuck the tank on. It says it's at 0.27. I hold down the power and up, and then the ohms icon turned into a little lock, which will be completely invisible, right? Because this always works, right, Luke? The quick focus. Yeah, every time in the world, always. Yeah, my hardware is so great. If you'd like to donate to the show, my PayPal is juicyjones@gmail.com. So. The other two things you can set are the wattage and the temperature. Now, the temperature is the thing you're setting all the time, going up and down to do that. The wattage is the spike wattage that it starts at to get you your peak warmth that you want. And so it's basically a way to speed up the process of getting to the temperature you want without a long, slow uptick, which this technology is sort of prone to. So right now I have mine set on 75 watts, and that's a little bit of a kick of warm. And then I have mine, because I smoked for 30 years and I like hot vape, set on 560 degrees Fahrenheit. But basically, you can vape this from top to bottom, non-stop. Hold down the button until it's dry, and it'll just stop vaping, and it won't burn.
Oh, wow. Oh, dang.
Wow! Oh my God, that's good. Oh my God, that's so delicious. So it's a convenience, and it's a nice thing for tanks. It's a great thing for the average vapor who has moved into a sub-ohm tank. Or it also works with mouth to lung and building very low with nickel and the titanium, and hopefully soon, and also stainless steel on microcoils. So this technology is a good thing. It keeps you from dry hits. And that's what's
Oh,
nice about it.
awesome.
It's even possible to build RDAs using
Mm.
this if you know what you're doing, which I don't know what I'm doing yet, but I'm going to learn. And that will also give the ability to run these things that way. And I personally would like to run a stainless, not, or whatever. I'd like to run a temperature control coil on this, my FOTI, because it's my favorite atomizer. So to sum it all up, I'm sorry that was like the longest summary ever, but to sum
It's
that
okay.
up, in your case, since you have the gear, identify exactly which items you have that support temperature control on stainless
Mhm.
steel. Or tell me which coils you got. I'm sorry. Forgive me. You told me in the beginning you got two
I
kinds, nickel and something else.
I got. I'm gonna have to wait till I open all the boxes, but I do know that I did get some stainless steel, nickel. I have not gotten titanium. So
You're talking
yeah,
about for the crown, right?
multiple tanks for any of the tanks that accepted the smock. Um,
54.
yeah, and I think a couple others, and I have at least 3 or 4 devices. A couple of them are still in the mail pile that support temperature control, so I'll be able to figure it out,
Okay. Well,
I
I
guess.
recommend that you start with the crown and the nickel coil
Okay,
just to
stainless steel.
start. Or
Oh,
what coil do you have in your crown right this very second? Your golden
uh,
crown.
just the Canthal one, regular.
Well, there are
Stainless
no
steel.
Canthal. Yeah, there are no Canthal coils for the crown. So that's the stainless
The cr-
steel. What ohmage is it at?
oh, 0.25.
Oh, you're stoked. So you don't have to do anything. All you
Well,
have to do is plug that into a temperature control device and set it to temperature control, and then set and lock the resistance, set the wattage to, I would
right.
set it to 50 to 75 watts, and then set the
But
temperature
this
to,
Crown tank doesn't have any Canthal coils. It's stainless steel.
yeah,
Yeah.
they don't make or sell any Canthal for the
Oh,
crown.
I didn't know that.
That's
Okay.
what's wonderful about it. That's their secret. The Yule, my Yule, I love you. Crown, I love you. It's
Huh.
true. I'm the biggest Crown fan ever. I think that
Okay.
it's like one of the most delicious things. So yeah, so that coil you have now is the coil you want to have anyway. So, if you have a rouleau, for example, or you have one of these things, an EVIC BTC Mini, they, or you have an X Cube, a Smock X Cube 2, those
The
three
X Cube
things,
Mini is coming in. I ordered that last night.
nice.
But
Um,
yeah, I mean, this does temperature control as well. So,
Yeah, so set it on
but
Smock
not
is
not from stainless. So never mind.
No,
okay.
no stainless.
Smock's X Cube 2, I believe, does have the stainless setting,
Yes,
and
yes, it
Smock has
does.
been
That's why I
real
got it.
and Smock has been
Yeah.
real serious about getting good at Smock has really got good temperature control for
Mhm.
stainless. So they're all Smock, and Joytech is killing it on every frontier right now. All of Joytech stuff is amazing because I don't know if you know it, but this is actually made by Joytech, or owned by Joytech. Um, so does that answer your question? I'm sorry, I talk a lot, but I'm not
Yes.
certain.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to make the leap. It's kind of scary for me, but
You're always free just to call me offline anytime, and we can just go through it together. It's not a big deal. It only takes 10 minutes. So that's not. Luke and I did this last night, didn't we, Luke?
Yeah.
Took 10 minutes, and then he was just fiddling with the settings. That's what he had to do, is figure out where he liked it. And that's my lesson for you, is that my settings aren't yours. I can show you what settings to change, and then you can decide how hot you like it, how fast, whatever.
okay, I will be right back in 1 second. I'm sorry. I'm
All right, just
gonna
click
mute.
on the little video mute and the audio mute. That's fine. Nainoa, you're liking the temperature control so far, aren't you?
I am. I am. It's something that I really enjoy for two reasons. One, I used to burn the ever living crap out of the older coils.
Yeah, yeah, like that. You and I were joking about how sometimes you forget to prime them, and then you go, and you're like, oh, you've ruined a brand new coil.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm pretty sure that everybody out there has probably done that at
Yeah.
least once. If not, then congrats to you because I was the foolish one that has burnt it several times. But yeah, it's once it was primed and I started getting flavor through it, it it's amazing.
Yeah, I
I
remember you
really,
turned to me. It was like halfway through. You're like, wait, dude, this is starting to taste good.
yeah, it's something that it to me I was I'll admit it, I was a little intimidated by it I really didn't want to go down that road. And so, when I
Sure.
actually did it, it was like, wow, that's actually really good. That's actually really cool. And the
Yeah,
fact
it
that
is good.
it actually kind of lets you know that, hey, I'm out of juice, even better.
Yeah, it just gets crappier and crappier, and it gets obvious. And the technology isn't perfect, but that's why we're so happy that Joytech and Smock and some of the other manufacturers are starting to make better temperature control coils. And I don't think you should be even remotely embarrassed about being intimidated or afraid of doing that, because of course nickel is something I don't want to. There's a lot of information and misinformation about which metals are actually safe. I think Canthol's actually still the safest thing to actually vape, but doing temperature control, if the electronics are better, there's good evidence that if we stay inside our controls and vape safely, that we're going to have decent results. It's important not to dry burn titanium ever, for example, and so by buying, in my case, just by buying the factory coils and treating them right, we're being safe by
Yeah,
doing that.
and that's something to kind of tell everybody is, for me, it might just be because, I want to have my coils last as long as they do. But I always recommend to everybody to prime them first, drip a little juice inside the coils, to take some dry hits before you get started on your process, because it's actually really important to have it primed correctly and to not have uh, burning.
That's
So
true. You have to prime them. If all of you guys don't know that, when you're changing the coils in any of your tanks, if you're factory coils, it's important, except in the case of maybe like the Endura THP, it's important for you to take your dropper and put in a couple of 3 drops and then give it 10 seconds and then put in another drop and then look at it and make sure that it's not leaking all the way through, but it's still the cotton inside the coil has liquid on it. And then when you put it in the tank, make sure it's sealed correctly, and then put the tank on, fill it up, and then don't press the button, just vape on it, the tank, just to get some of the wicking working through the wicking mechanism into the coil, and then just give it, 60 seconds, 2 minutes, whatever. Just chat for a second, and then start vaping away. And another important thing is to start with low settings and move high, because sometimes these things take time to break in. So that you should make sure that you new coil, put it in on 20 watts, and then yeah, ha, but then put it on 30, and then 40 and 50, and then whatever, wherever you're going to live. But give it a little time. It's important not to just jump straight to the highest wattage you want to go to with a brand new coil.
yeah, and that's a good FYI for people.
Somebody in chat asked a question about the crown or stainless steel running a titanium mode, and that's true. It is. It works that way on some mods, and I'll show you an example. One of them is my SMY 60TC Mini. No atomizer detected, but it does understand that this thing is on titanium temperature control. I love how this focuses every time just right, Luke. We have the best luck with this. It's like, how are we so lucky?
It's a big screen.
Um, so you'll notice that the number's off. It's titanium, so it registers at the wrong temperature. It's actually 220 degrees off or something. So this is more like 500. But let me tell you, it's delicious as a mofo.
I just thought of another question related to stainless steel. Can temperature control do any stainless steel coil, or just ones that are marketed as a stainless steel temperature control coil?
So
Because I've
temperature
seen
control is just the concept, but the circuitry and the mathematics and all that have to be programmed in for it to work.
Okay.
It is because of the similarity between stainless steel and titanium that this works.
Right.
It is not accurate. That is not 230 degrees Fahrenheit. It is actually more like 480 or 500.
No, I meant
So,
with any stainless steel coil that's coming out. Are they all able to do temperature control, or just the ones that say they do?
as far as I know, if your device supports temperature control on, say, a metal, stainless steel, and that coil is made of it, then it supports it. Isn't that your understanding, Luke, or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if it says it's stainless steel, the only trouble you'll get into are people who are building custom coils, and some people who are more knowledgeable and the sort of higher end will build, say, like Claptons with combinations of metals for temperature control with variable ramp up speed. But that's nothing you have to worry about until later on in your hobby journey. Right now, all you've got to worry about is that your device's capabilities have to be matched to the coils you're on. I mean, you asked the right question. The answer is yeah, it should work.
Okay, thank you. Yep. See,
It
I'm
should work.
7 months in, still learning. You should never be afraid to ask questions. That's how you keep from blowing your hand off and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly right. And no question's stupid. I mean, we always say on this show over and over again that anytime that you go to a vape shop and they don't ask you any questions at all, if you have questions, then you're in trouble. Go to a different vape shop
Hmm.
because they need to be asking you stuff because there's a lot of little details about vaping and smoking and all and quitting smoking and vaping and that stuff and how comfortable you are. It's not one size fits all. That's not how it is.
Hmm. It's funny, nobody at any of the shops actually asked me questions. I asked them questions. So
That's good. Do you like the answers? Are the answers helpful?
most of the time, yes. Like, there was one where they were more interested in pushing product, but a couple of them are good.
Good.
So
I'm glad. Yeah, absolutely. I like how you Nye, you totally had a vision of your little journey with quitting was the exact. In fact, both
oh,
of you
oh
actually
no.
had the. What am I holding up? Oh, she wasn't talking to me. Nye, I was just saying that I like how you and Lisa, you both have a similar journey and going pretty rapidly through the smoking right into the little stuff, clear misers, better device. And I'm happy that that was less painful for you guys. I think right now that we have the Endura T18 and T22, it'll be less painful for people not to have to go through two or three things until they get into what I call the maintenance phase. I split it up into three phases. There's the quitting phase, the maintenance phase where you just don't smoke and you're now getting the nicotine through the vape, and then one of two things happen. It's either quitting or hobbies. Right.
Yeah, no, see, it's something that people should realize out there is, it's the quitting process is not it's not fast for most people. So you just gotta make it a conscious, when you have a vape, use that. And like I said before, just make sure that you have more nicotine in it. That way you're not going back and you're craving that cigarette. So,
Yeah.
and what on a side note, and this is just something that I wanted to say is, for there's a lot of legislation out there. There are people that are anti-vape, and I think if you broke it down for people and they were knowledgeable about stuff, then they would realize that vaping is better. But if you happen to be passing by other people and, you know, just don't blow a huge smoke cloud at them, especially with their families, just, you know, either blow down, just be considerate of others. And, I think it'll be a lot better.
Have courtesy. So
Yeah.
I don't want to interrupt you guys. Did we lose our guest?
Oh,
Looks like
we,
it.
we lost
We
Lisa.
have. We'll try to get her back. But what time is it, Luke? It's time for
Time for the
giveaway
giveaway
announcement.
announcement. Hopefully this is going to work. So this is going to be for
I'm so sorry. We'll try to
the
get Lisa back if we can. She must have had a technical difficulty. I'm sorry.
this is going to be for the Velocity Mini from the replay from last week's show. All you need to do is contact me at polishvapesuk@hotmail.com, which I'm sure Juicy will be able to stick it in the description. If you just contact me there, and you can pick a colour, whatever colour you want, and I'll get that sorted and shipped out to you as soon
Again,
as I
I'm
can.
jealous again of our own giveaway. It's so good.
So the winner for that is
Drum roll.
Mike Pevier.
Mike Pavia.
So if you
Yes,
just
he's a
contact
friend of the
me,
show.
Nice.
if you contact me, I'll get your details and I'll get that sorted out as soon as I can. Do you want to go over the giveaway for the replay, Juicy?
Yeah, definitely. What we're giving away for the replay is the Kennedy 24 clones that just appeared on Fast Tech. So I'm pretty excited. I want to order one for me. But all you have to do, we haven't. What did we do last year? We did that, or last week we did the the best
20.
show one.
Yeah, best show.
Okay, so in the comments for the replay to win the Kennedy 24, type in hashtag really the best show 2016. So really the best show 2016 down in the hashtags or down in the comments anytime during the week, and then we'll announce the winner for that little guy next week, and you'll get your choice of the finishes of those two, which they have one kind of dumb looking one and three really cool ones. They have copper and brass and black, and they have a white one that kind of is strange.
Yeah. I did. I wanted to mention something that's been going on in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really want to bring the show to a bad point, but Vaping for Beginners, which everybody in the chat's been talking with him. He's actually out there to see his dad. He's been fighting cancer for 13 years. And they've actually told him that he's losing his battle now, and he's got like 2 months, and that's why he's out there. So, there's not a lot we can do. We've all been through it. I've lost family to cancer, and if you need anything, you know where you can find us. You can email us, and if we can do anything, we will. But
yeah,
there's not
Brian,
really a lot to say.
if you need anything, make sure you let us know. I have lost both my parents. And I lost my mom to cancer 20 years ago, so make sure you reach out if you need something. And I'll be thinking about you, obviously. I'm glad you're there. It's nice to be there.
Yeah, if there's anything that's needed, somebody to talk to at all, I've lost family as well, and it's better just to kind of talk to people, and by all means don't hold it in. It's not a toughness competition or anything of the sort.
He could probably tell you what the best bar is to go hide in one night if you want.
Well, that's true. But
thanks for saying that, Luke. I'm really glad you mentioned that, because that has slipped my mind, and that's important too, because we love Brian, and he's a friend of the show. He's been on the show, and you can see the replays if you want to, but he's such a great guy.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for saying that. So I told them what they had to hashtag already, right? We've had 2 great guests and a fun conversation, and we didn't care that we went long. And I've had a fun time. I want to thank everybody here. I want to remind you to like and subscribe and share this with your friends and tell them about us. We want to grow this. Come to our Facebook group. It's Facebook Groups Juicy Jones. And then we just want to get people involved and help people stay off the cigarettes. You guys want to talk about maybe just, do you have any last thoughts, any final things to say to our amazing viewers?
I've had a great time. If anybody has any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer it for you. I would put in my Instagram link, but for some reason, whenever I try to type on this thing, it tells me that there's an error.
Yeah, you can't put links into the chat, but I can put them into the description, and I'll have yours and hers. Anything you want, I'll put down there for you.
Yeah, it's I'm having technical difficulties this early in the morning.
Yeah, we just had a power surge, but I just wanted to thank you for having me on.
Welcome back, by the way. Thank you for coming back.
Yeah, it was an honor, and I just like that we all have such similar stories, but we're experiencing vaping in our own little journey, and there's really no right and wrong way. Just always ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions, because you could do some damage if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, ask questions. You're right, and you're such a great gal. I really appreciate your focus on regular people vaping, and that's kind of what our focus is too. It's not we're not sitting here talking to ourselves. We're sitting here talking to you guys in the audience.
Right.
We're trying to talk to all you guys and gals who have weird, obscure questions. I'm really glad you guys both had such great, interesting things to say, and that you asked questions and stuff. And so I've had a really good time today. Luke, you have anything to shovel in?
Just been enjoying the show. We are hoping to do DIY show next week. What I'm actually going to do is, if you go on to Juicy's, the Facebook group. I'm
Basket of
actually
goodies.
either Wednesday or sometime in the week. I'm actually going to go in there. I'm going to put in a post of what I'm going to make and the flavors that I use. So if you've got them laying around and you want to join in and make it with us, then you can.
You
So
daring
it'll be there.
bastards! That's a great idea.
So if you've got the stuff laying around and you want to make the flavour that I'm making, then the stuff will be there. I may even put in, well, I guess it'd be different depending what size bottle you want to make, but I'll be making 100 mils. So I can just post in my calculator that tells me what mils I need for each juice. But
This would be a
I
good
will do
opportunity
that.
for you to open up a web browser and learn how to use e-liquid-recipes.
Yep.
I'm glad you mentioned that. That's so exciting. We have so much fun doing those shows, and we're also going to do a basic coil building show, just like those DIY shows. And maybe either before or right after that, we're going to do a show that's just focused on answering this question: how do I get started building coils? And we've got some guests who are lined up. Nobody's confirmed exactly, but I've got some guests lined up that are going to come on, and we're just going to ask them not to show off their greatest alien coils, but to answer that question for you. How do I get started building coils? Because I hear that question 1,000 times, and I want to remind all the viewers, too, all of whom I love, that we try to answer questions, too. So you can contact us on the Facebook group, and you can contact me through Instagram and stuff. And we're not, unreachable, crazy, weirdo heroes or anything. We're just people just like you. So if you have questions and stuff, feel free to contact us. It's okay.
Yep.
It's perfectly fine. If we don't contact you back, it's only because we're just busy. It's not because we don't want to talk to you.
Yep.
Great. So let's vape out. Let's have a great weekend. And thank everybody out there so much. I
Thank
wish I could
you.
name every single person and thank them, but I can't.